and welcome back to the Liberty Homestead. I looked at the weather last night and saw that we have a couple nights coming up where it's going to get down into the 40s, and I want to try to overwinter some tomato plants this year. I did overwinter some pepper plants last year with some pretty good success. I tried to overwinter 6 of them, totally forgot to do anything with them, forgot to water them because I had, you know, a baby that was less than a year old at the time, and still 3 out of the 6 survived. And they are actually my best producing plants this year because they had quite the head start. Now, Liberty Toddler here absolutely loves her tomatoes. She goes bananas over tomatoes. She will eat her weight in tomatoes in the garden and at supper every day. She loves them, but this child will not touch a grocery store tomato. I had an idea to run a little experiment. Someone recently told me that you can overwinter tomatoes and keep them producing throughout the winter so long as you stick them in a pot, bring them inside, and give them enough light. Now, if you saw my last video about the unfortunate circumstance of going away for a couple of weeks and coming back and finding that hornworms pretty much destroyed all of my tomato plants, you know that I don't have a lot to choose from. One of the really cool things about tomatoes actually is the fact that you can take off any branch pretty much and stick it in a pot of dirt and it will root and grow and become another tomato plant. So we're just going to take pots, we're going to fill them up with some dirt and stick some branches in them and bring them in the house and see what happens. Now the nice thing too is tomatoes are self-pollinating, so in theory, if we can keep them going over the winter and get them to bloom, all you really need to do is like tap them, shake them, and they will pollinate themselves, and in theory, we'll still get tomatoes throughout the winter. So we have one pot here that we have some dirt in. We'll toss a little bit more in. Now this bucket is a mixture of dirt and compost. We're actually sitting right next to one of these German varieties here. These are Riesentraub, I'm not really sure how to say it. They're bigger than cherry tomatoes. They get to be about an ounce. Some of them are about as big as $50 actually. She loves them. So most of the ones that I'm going to try to save, I think are going to be this variety, but I'm also going to do some cherry tomatoes just because they produce so well and they're pretty hardy. Most of the ones in this garden reseeded themselves from last year, so I figure they're pretty good stock. This branch here looks pretty good. And by the way, do as I say, not as I do. These plants are a perfect example of why you want to prune your tomatoes. I didn't this season because I wanted to see what would happen if I didn't. I wanted to see if it was really needed. Spoiler alert, it is, because otherwise they just sprawl everywhere and get completely ridiculous. This is the one that we're gonna do right here. So I have cut it off the plant and then we just stick it down in the dirt pretty deep like you would with a regular tomato plant. Try to keep it away from the toddler. And we're gonna put them aside. Woo! Oh goodness. And then you would just water it and keep the soil moist while it creates some roots. Woo! And what's cool is tomatoes, you don't even need any kind of growing hormone. So this guy's done. We're gonna set him aside and get another one. All right, so we take a branch, we cut it off, we stripped off these lower suckers here, and we just stick it down in there. All right, let's give this one a drink and then we can go inside and get a nap. All Alright gang, pardon the cell phone video part here, but I just wanted to show you I have a bunch of tomatoes that are already reseeding themselves in my garden. And after I filmed the original part of the video, I found this guy where my cucumber patch had been. And as I was doing my fall cleanup a little bit here by the blueberries, I found this one growing out of some compost and another one in here. So to add to our little experiment, I'm about to dig these tomatoes up and I'm going to plant them in the dirt about up to here, like you would with a seedling being transplanted into the garden. Because they're growing out of the compost, I know that they are cherry tomatoes because that's all that's made it into the compost. So I just dug up the first one and you can see it's got a pretty good long root on it. So I'm gonna plant it up to about here maybe so that it can grow some roots along the bottom stem and get a little bit stronger. So here we go, and we're gonna put, because this is all that I have on hand at the moment, we're gonna put this little baby in there too, along with it, until I can fill up another pot. And here is our other one. This one, the roots are not as great. There's still some of the leaf litter on there, but that's okay. We're gonna put them in there. So this one also, if you ever buy plants, keep your pots. They come in very handy. So we'll probably plant him pretty deep, about that deep. Oh, lady. Let's dig our hole. Let's try to do this one-handed here while holding our cell phone. Oh, you want to put him in? Woo, what a good helper. I think Mama might need to do a little help. There we go. Okay. All right, let's put on a glove. All right, so we have our tomato in our pot. Was more upright until the toddler happened, but that is the risk of having a small child help you with the gardening duties. But like I said, this pot is not going to be its permanent home anyways. We have potted our 3 tomato transplants. We're gonna go inside, I think, and have some nap time and then come back out and do a couple more, because I'd like to have at least 2 of each, I think. And because it's still really nice out during the days, that tomorrow it's gonna be only 66, but the rest of the time it's still in the 70s and sometimes low 80s here during the day. So these can stay outside in a sunny spot during the day and come inside at night. But once it starts getting cooler, then I am just going to leave these inside permanently with some grow lights on them, and we're gonna see if it works. So thanks for watching this video. We're gonna do updates on this as we go. I'll let you know how these go through the winter and if we actually get any tomatoes off of them. But for now, nap time. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you liked this video and learned a little something, and I will see you on the next one.